What if I told you that you could sound like a pro violinist right now without spending 20 years practicing the violin? After studying 800 books and teaching hundreds of students, I discovered that you only need 5 building blocks to sound like a pro. Today, I will show you how to master every building block, step by step, so that you can play the violin beautifully from the start. And the first step is just to have a beautiful sound. What I mean is that only with the bow, without the left hand, you should have a really beautiful sound. That's the first thing. So the question is how to do it. On first thing first, it means you should have a really optimized bow grip. What it really means is that first your thumb and third finger, they should build a round like that. Most mistake people make is that they press here, so that it looks so in the end. It need to say round. Then you need to come here, the third finger, then the index here, on this phalange. Not here, not here, just here, like you can see by my example. Then this one here, on the pinky finger here. By the pinky finger, important, don't do that. Okay, don't do that either, put it a little bit on the inside part with round finger. Then don't stretch the finger too much, don't put them too close to one another, keep just like this. That will be the perfect bow grip. Then what's important when you start with the violin is to play a relaxed free movement. That will be steps 2. You should really first focus on letting the violin sound from alone. What I see is that too much people try to force the sound. That means they try really they try too hard. They try to control the violin, but you can't control the violin. You can just guide it, okay? So for this reason, you need to hold the bow very freely, and then you need to really feel that every one of your joint is really free. Then just put the bow on the string and try to get a very soft sound first. Without any weight, without anything, just soft, just free. Then after that, you need to keep the bow parallel to the bridge at all time, basically. That means not like that, just parallel. The best way to train that is simple. Just use a mirror or the camera of your phone. Then be parallel to the camera like I'm doing right now and look at it that the bow stay parallel. If you have difficulty staying parallel, it's probably because you are doing the movement here instead of from here. This is valid from ear to ear. Always use the elbow. Then next, you need to adapt the free sound factors. That's one of the most important rules. So the free sound factor is basically that if you want to have a beautiful sound, you need to have those three factors coming together. The first one is just how much weight you put on the string. So this will be full weight. That will be very little weight. The second one is the speed bow. It will be a lot of speed, that will be very slow. And the third one is the contact point, where exactly the bow is in contact with the string, near to the bridge or near to the fingerboard. And then what you need to do is just test combination of those three factors. Start with something simple, like putting the bow on the middle for the contact point. Don't use too much weight. And some standard bow speed will be like for one viertel note to use half the bow. It's a good beginning, like that. Then, if it's not sounding good, try to change one of those factors. First, try to change the contact point, it could be more here, or more here. Or try to use more bow, or less bow, or to use more weight, or less weight, until you find a combination that's really sounding good. Next thing is the bow control. Very important, especially when you're starting, is the uniformity of the sound. So what most beginners do wrong is that when they play, it sounds like that. They use a lot of weight at the beginning, then less weight, a lot of speed, less speed, they change the contact point the whole time. And because of that, it is really challenging to have a beautiful sound. So what you want is, at the beginning, just do always the same. Always keep the same contact point, always keep the same weight, always keep the same bow speed, okay? And very rarely change that. Okay, just everything uniform. Then the next point is that you need to control your bow change so that we don't hear them. So a lot of people, we hear every bow change. So what you need to do here, that's really interesting. That's something I read more than 800 books to really find out what is the best technique for the violin, what is the best way to play the violin. And something I really learned, it was in different books. One was from Zach Brown, one of the most famous violinists, and from Ivan Galaiman, another one of the most famous violin teachers, was to, before the bow change, to slow a little bit and then start again accelerating, okay? Basically, like when you drive a car, you know, you want to slow down a little bit before the turn and then you accelerate again a little bit. Here, very important is that you never stop. You stay always in movement, okay? But you slow a little bit for the bow change, and then you accelerate again a little bit, but very regularly, so that it stays in movement. Then the next thing that's really important is just to practice your pieces on open strings. That's actually what all best violinists did. That was actually a big part of the Russian method back in the 20th century, and that's really important. You should always practice your pieces on open string. That means that, let's say, my piece is just what I played at the beginning, this, yeah? First I will practice it in open string. And when I'm doing that, I want really to play it on the open string like I want to play it later on, okay? That means not only like, but really like with musicality, with everything I want it to be, okay? It should sound beautiful on open string. For example, here, it happened something. That means I need to practice that, first on open string. By the way, if you're an adult beginner and you want to learn to play the violin beautifully, just book a free consultation call with me, the link is under the video. Now, step 2 to sound like a pro is to have 100% perfect pitch. What it means is that when you play the right note. Okay, could have a beautiful sound, but if the notes are not the right one, are not accurate, then it will not sound good. Here, how to do that? First, you need to train your hair. Here, there is no shortcut. Please don't use tuners the whole time to find the notes. Please, please, please don't use finger tape on the violin. That's one of the worst things you could do, because then the same will be the whole time looking or not hearing at what you are doing. In opposite, what you want to do is to train your hair. So first, you need to tune your violin every single day, okay? And if you practice for multiple hours a day, then every hour you should tune again the violin. Because if your violin is not 100% tuned accurately, what you will hear is wrong, and then you will develop a bad habit of it. Then the first step for beginners, easiest way to develop the hearing, is to use some play along from very simple exercise. Okay, so first start with the most simple exercise, that's the 2-note exercise. This, for example, yeah, is the most simple exercise all my students make first. Okay, it's just D and E, and you should train it in different simple rhythm. What you want to do is just to use a play along of this simplest exercise. Okay, so let me show you. For example, here I will play it. And what you want first is just to listen at it, okay? Then there is two ways. The first one is to play with. Play with, it just means I play the recording and I play with it. I could put a loop, something like that, to make it easier. But anyway, so I will just play with it. When I'm doing that, what I want to do is to try to match the intonation of the recording 1 to 1. Then the other way of doing the same, that's very important, is to play after the recording. That means you hear the recording, then it stops, you play alone. Here, very important, close your eyes, focus on what you are hearing. And try to really match the exercise you had before. Then hear again, then play again. Always alternative. Then the next thing is that you really need to understand that to have a beautiful intonation, you need to start with calibration before automation. What it means, calibration, that's the process of finding the right note. Automation, that's the process of playing the right note systematically. So first, you always need to start with calibration, finding the right note. For that, basically you do what I just showed, using recordings, those kind of things, and just really trying to find where it is. Okay, you really need to be sure that my E, it's the right note. Okay? When you are sure of that, then first you should do to the automation. So automation is a process of repeating the same thing. Okay? When I'm always repeating the E, what I'm doing is automating. The problem I see most beginners do is that they don't calibrate first, they just see like they got some exercise for someone or they found one exercise online and then they just repeat the exercise again and again and again and again. The problem is that first they didn't calibrate the note, they didn't find the right note, so what they are doing is that they are automating the wrong things. And I get it, it's difficult, I know it is to be beginner, I was beginner one day too, I had a lot of difficulty, maybe I had more difficulty than you because I really had a lot of difficulty, so that my teacher told to me when I was 17 that I will never be able to play the violin the right way and even less to become a professional violinist. Okay, so I get it, it's difficult, but I'm sure you can do it. I never saw someone who can't learn the violin. So then the next step is that you need to hit the right note directly. Okay? So what that means, that I see a lot of people who play like that. They are always correcting the note before having played it. Okay? At the beginning it's too high, then they put lower, then it's too low, put higher, and so they are always moving the finger. What you want to train is to hit the right note directly. That means if it's wrong, okay, you need to repeat it, but you need to hit the note directly without correcting. Then, for very useful things to improve the calibration, to play the note even more accurately, is to listen at the resonance, especially for the notes that are the same as your open string, like G, D, A, E. When I play the G, and hit the right note, there is a lot of resonance. If it's too high, the tone or a direct stop, or too low, the same. On the right note, it stay very long. Then the other way that you could use is to sing. Okay, I know that a lot of people don't like to sing. I get it. I don't like either, but it's a very good way. So you just need to do a recording, for example. You are the recording, so let's play it actually. And I try to sing with. And then I'll learn. It's not important if it's not sounding like, you know, the best singer. It's just an exercise, okay? Just sing it, and then you try to play it. Then last thing, compare with open strings. That means if I play my G, I want to compare with my G because it's the same note, okay? Or the E with my E. Okay, and those are different methods, but you should try each one and find which one is easiest for you to find the right notes and then combine them for even more accurate intonation. Then let's go to the third building blocks, the tempo. The tempo is for me like the hidden factor. Because you don't see it, Nobody think about it, but it's like really important. The tempo, it's what is under the music. When I'm playing, like that you have again. That's the tempo, okay? Or you see, when there is orchestra, this is the tempo, okay? That's really important. So for beginners, basically, the problem I see the most is just that they don't have any tempo, okay? Not only for beginners, I'm shocked actually. One of my students is playing concertmeister, so it's the first violin in an orchestra, yeah? And like the dirigent, he don't have any tempo, he don't define tempo. So what you need to do really is to define your tempo. That means you can just try at your piece, how you would like to play it, and then check what is the tempo. For this, on most metronome, you have a tap-in function. And basically what you do is that when you tap in on it, then it shows you what is the tempo you tapped in. Here it was 57, okay? So let's say I play my piece, then I tap it. Now I know what's my goal tempo. The problem is that most pieces are too fast for beginners. Not necessarily too fast for beginners, but too fast to start with. Something very important is to first start with a slower tempo, and that's for every level. For example, for me, when I start learning Paganini Caprice, so I didn't start training it in full tempo in stress. No, the first month I practiced everything 50% slower. The second month, 75%. And only the third month I start practicing in 100% tempo. I would advise you to do the same for every pieces that when the tempo is above 80, basically, if you are a beginner. And then something very helpful, of course, is to use metronome for practice, but not the whole time, okay? Do one time with, one time without, so that you learn to feel it yourself. But tempo can most of the time not be seen in isolation because it have to do a lot with rhythms. So here, the fourth blocks on how you can really play the right rhythm every time so that it's beautiful. So rhythms that basically when I play my piece, bad rhythms will be that. My sound was good, everything was good, but my rhythm was like unstable. So that's a very important thing too. So here there is a few steps. The first one is to have a clear look first at the time signatures. So this is Dvorak New World Symphony, and the first thing you want is to look at the time signature to know how many strokes you have per bar. So yeah, actually it's 4 quarter notes, okay, but actually the tempo show 8 notes. That means that here we'll have actually 8 notes for each bar. Then you need to really understand the rhythm to be really sure about it. For this, the best way is just to write under each note a tempo stroke. So for example, here, yeah, I will draw my first stroke here, then the second one here for 8 notes, then one here, and so on, okay? Even in professional orchestra, it's very common when there is something very difficult or unsure to write some of the strokes. Then the next step will be to just solfege it loud accurately. So here, for example, I will really clap my hands together for the tempo and then speak what it's written. So here it will be F sharp to A 2, F sharp to A D 2. That's it. And it should be really 100% accurate and precise. Then come one exercise I truly love. And that's that you will divide the rhythm in even notes, even rhythm. That means, for example, here, instead of playing it like this, with the bow, I will play the whole time 16th notes. That means that instead of playing this like that, it will look like that. And this really forces you to be very precise in the rhythm, to understand it too, and keep a tempo that's really steady. Then our last building blocks is really important, is the musicality, because if you did everything I said previously, it will sound quite beautiful, but it will be like boring, like that maybe. The question is how to sing with the violin. And the first step, is that you will need to have automated your technique. Okay? It's very difficult to play with Musicality if you are the whole time concentrating on your finger on the bow. That's the reason why you need a good plan and a good program. Okay? That I show you in other videos. Next thing, is that you should choose pieces that are easier than your general technical level. That means if you just make exercise on the D string, for example, then play pieces on the D string. Don't start playing pieces in the third position, really quick. That's another big error, If you can play only your exercise in 8-note tempo 60, then why play pieces that are tempo 100 with 16 notes? It will not work, okay? And you will not be able to play them with Musicality. And then what you really need to know is to start practicing your technique with Musicality. That means that even a simple exercise like a scale, start to phrase. Okay, really try to play every technical thing you do like a masterpiece. And then you need to have a very clear vision of how you want to interpret this piece. For this, the first step you could do is to try to sing your piece. That's really important, okay? It's actually what Piotr Solarski, what was the teacher of the most amazing violinists here there, like Milstein, Oestrakh, and a lot more, what always tell his student, sing it, okay? Because if you sing it, you will really be able to get a feel for it. And like previously, you don't need to sing like a singer. It's just like you can, okay? It could be okay, with closed mouth. It could be even or whatever, okay? But you want to try so that you get this natural phrasing, okay? Then next step, is the phrasing. So phrasing, basically, it's giving a direction. That's like when I'm speaking to you, I know I'm not speaking like that. If I was speaking like that, it would be really boring for you. What I'm doing is that I'm varying the tone of my voice. Sometimes I go a little bit in one direction, then I go back, I change it, something more like this, something like that, okay? So that's basically phrasing. And each phrase has like a one-line structure, okay? It's build a phrase. So, okay, that's very theoretical, but the easiest way to do it without complication is so easy. It's just to follow the direction of the note. So for example, the previous example here from Dvorak, what I could just do is that when the notes are going on the high end, I will become a little bit louder. When they go down, I will be a little bit quieter. Like that. And directly, that sounds way better. Then what I want to do is to add some dynamics. So phrasing, it's like I'm varying in a certain dynamic. For example, here for this piece, it was like piano. It was all soft, and then I'm varying inside. But like if I'm playing 2 times the same thing, I could have one time I'm playing like piano, and one time I'll play it loud, like that, for example. And the second time, quiet. That's dynamics. Then we have colors, emotion. You really want to find something, Like I could play it one time really like melancholic, try to play it melancholic. Or I could play it like more like, like with joy, like. Okay, and that gives a lot to the music. So to find that, something very helpful is just to close the eyes. Because when I see my student, this is a little bit the theory, but what I think most people have problem too is just to play, to forget the technique, to forget what other people could think about them playing and just play, okay? And that's really important. To play musical, just need to forget the technique, to forget hitting the right note, the sound, and just try to connect with your emotion, with yourself, and just try to play. And for this, If you close your eyes, it will be way easier. Okay, so try it. Close your eyes and just try to play, forget about anything else. Then something very helpful is to play with accompaniment, okay? Don't play it alone. And especially, play it with the best violin worldwide. For example, for these pieces, yeah, for my student, what we did is that I arranged this piece, yeah, so that it's really easy to play for my student for a specific level they are in, yeah, it's level 2 actually. And then they can play it with the recording from the Berliner Philharmonic, one of the best orchestra in the world. Let me show you. And actually, it doesn't even matter if it's a violinist or some other instrument, you just want to play with the best so that you learn to play like them. And even if there is no recording from great violinists from the piece you play, because those are really easy pieces, yeah, you could still hear someone that play amazingly and then try to play the first note of your song like them, exactly like them. Okay? Just pretend you are a great violinist, you don't need to wait. Just pretend you are. And if you do that, you will see that it will directly sound way better. Thanks you for listening, you can subscribe here.